Hello everyone, welcome to another episode by Caplexus Capital. And today's episode is going to be extremely valuable for anyone preparing for CAT or any competitive exams, especially for VRC. So I think VRC is one section where many students struggle, but at the same time, it's also the section where you can significantly boost your percentile, like if approached correctly. So today we have a guest, Aditya Gaur, who has scored 97.63 percentile in VRC. So we'll break down exactly how to prepare, what mistakes to avoid, and what actually works. So let's welcome our guest. So Aditya, can you briefly walk us through your CAT journey?
Yeah. So, as in the introduction, I scored 97 percentile in VRC. So, I had around 5 months of CAT preparation. And actually, it is surprising to know that I didn't focus much on VRC and I scored the most in that. Other than that, in that also I scored 94 percentile in decision making. So, my CAT journey has been very I won't say that it was steady, but I really focused on mocks and at the last month or so, which I think were the major contributor to my score.
So was VRC always your strong section, or did you build it over time?
Not at all. Actually, if so VRC is, let's say, in the layman's language, English. So in my whole school life, I never scored good marks in English. So I was surprised that how was I able to score that good percentile in CAT exam, even in that also 91 percentile. So I think I really focused more on mocks and how I analyzed what I did wrong, and I focused on the reasoning behind what answer I gave and what should have been. So I think learning from those were the major contributor to my score.
So when did you realize that you can actually score very high in VRC?
So while giving mocks, I scored very less in quants. I scored very less
So
in
I think
DLR.
this is so I think this is important because many
Hmm.
students assume VRC is either natural or not.
Hmm.
So, like, why do you think most students struggle with VRC?
I I think that students focus on learning new words every day. I heard students that they've had been learning around 5 to 10 words every day. I think that it is not at all useful and it really confuses you. So what I used to do was I used to read the comprehension, and then if I found a difficult word, I would guess the meaning. If I am not able to guess the meaning, then I'm just going to think that it is positive or negative. So half of my work is done. Now, if that word was in the options or in the question, I would guess that it is something positive or negative, and then answer accordingly. So I did that. So I think students make that mistake of learning new words and really focusing on it, overemphasizing on it. That derails your
Uh,
preparation.
I agreed. So, is VRC about English knowledge or something else?
I think VRC is understanding what is given to you in the comprehension. If strictly speaking about comprehension, para jumbles and antonyms, synonyms. I think those are what is I would say core English, but reading comprehension is simple and easy to understand, at least for me. So I don't think I can say that it is English. I think it is more about reading and understanding what is given to you.
Because a lot of students focus on vocabulary instead of comprehension. Yeah.
Mm.
So, what mindset should student have while preparing for VRC?
Not, I would recommend that not look towards VRC as something which is new to you. It has been what you have been doing in school, like reading comprehensions and all. So I think you should not look as if you are learning something new, just and not focus on words, new words and all. Just read, understand, and answer. And by answer, I mean eliminate the options one by one. I never answered a question if by without elimination. I never did that.
Insight. So, how should someone approach for reading passages?
Okay, so what I used to do was uh, I used to see the passage, their length. My answer will be according to if I am giving a CAT exam right now. So what I do is I just check the length of the RC of all the RCs in the paper. Then I'm going to just read the first para quickly, just from the top. And if I am able to understand it, then I'm going to fully read it. And then I'm going to read the questions. So here what others recommend is read the questions first and then the RC. But for me that didn't work because if I did that first, then I'm going to just find that question and not that hinders my own understanding of the comprehension. I focus on the question. So I don't prefer that. So I read the comprehension and then read the question and then read the RC again for finding the answer if I don't remember that. So while reading the RC, I'm going to mark the paras in my rough sheet. So first para is about this, second para is about this, third para is about that. And if any new word I see, then just going to mark it on the paper, on the CAT exam.
Yours is less about knowing difficult words
Hmm.
and more about understanding and formation.
Yes, true.
So, what was your daily VRC preparation routine during that time?
I didn't prepare VRC daily. So what I did was I focused on VRC in the last 2 months of my preparation out of 6 months in total. And in last 2 months, I gave around 20 to 25 mocks. And so if you see that if each mock has at least, let's say, two RC, then my two RCs are done and I'm just going to analyze them. And by analyzing, I used to see what I did wrong, what I marked right. And even if I marked right, I'm going to check other options also that why I rejected them. So the reasoning behind each accepting the answer, rejecting the answer should be clear to you.
So, how much time should students ideally spend on VRC according to you
During the paper or preparation?
for the preparation?
For the preparation,
Yeah.
I would say 45 minutes daily is what others say, but I didn't do that. I would say that around कितना लिखना? I would say half an hour daily is okay, considering that you are doing a single RC and then practicing parajumbles and new words if you want to.
So, how important is reading for VRC preparation? Is reading is important?
Yes, so people say that read newspaper, but what they don't say is that if you are reading newspaper, you have to understand it. So even if you understand a single page, just pick your favorite page. My favorite page was editorial. So I just read that page, understand what was written, and done with the newspaper. I don't read the whole newspaper. That is more of a useless information for me.
So, moving to the next question, what is more important, attempting more questions or maintaining accuracy?
Obviously, for me, accuracy was important, and accuracy is important to make up your score. But number of attempts should not be way less. So what I did was I had really high number of VRC attempts. And for DLR and for quants, I pulled back my hands on attempting more questions. So strictly speaking for VRC, what I did was if again parajumbles and new words if I see and their antonyms and all, if I don't understand, I'm not going to waste my time on it. I have confidence in my RC comprehension and those answers. So rather than wasting my time and attempting wrong questions, I would rather read the comprehension again if I want to, if I have really less attempts. If I want to, I will read the comprehension again and then try to answer a difficult question if I had left it behind. So for accuracy, I would say that just attempt the minimum questions first, and after that, if you are confident, then only answer. If you're not confident, I don't answer.
So how did you balance speed and accuracy?
Okay, so I left one RC for the end and answered two RCs at the starting of the paper. So after I used to assign around 5 to 7 minutes for reading the RC and then for answering the RC. So it took around maximum around 17 to 20 minutes is what I give to an RC alongside answers. So I give two RCs that much time, and then uh, I switch to parajumbles, and then I switch to the third RC, and then at last I go to if there are any new words. So in my attempt of CAT, as far as I can remember, there were very less questions to the new words or words and their antonyms and synonyms. Parajumbles is what consumed my time in my attempt, and RC I found them very easy. So what worked for me while answering the RC was I was eliminating my options one by one, and then answering my the only left question.
Question: how did you prepare for vulnerability topics like parables and summaries?
Okay, so summaries is I don't think I'm good at them. Parajumbles, I used a simple trick. I always use the Okay, so I first read the parajumbles, all sentences, and then find at least one linkage between the two sentences. If I found them, I'm going to check the options. So if there are, let's say, two options which have those linkages, then I'm just going to use the answer, read the parajumble according to that answer. If I am satisfied with that, then I'm going to answer it accordingly.
So can you tell us about any specific strategy for improving in this section?
Okay, for me, if I say that people say that you have to read more, but I don't agree with that. I would say that you have to attempt more questions and analyze what you did wrong. And even if you did right in VRC, you have to read the other options also while analyzing. So, uh, what I used to do was if there was a wrong answer which I attempted in a mock, so I'm going to, for other options, I'm going to read them and then reject them myself by giving the reasoning myself after reading the comprehension. And for the correct answer also, I'm going to give the reasoning that why is this correct. So this creates a critical thinking while attempting the mock. So if you are giving the CAT exam right now, then I was very brutal with rejecting the options I'm not satisfied with. In VRC, the major problem is if you're not satisfied with an option, you just leave that, you reject that option. Don't look for justification because you are going to get a justification from the RC itself if you find them, and I don't find them.
So how important were mock tests in VRC?
Very important for me because parajumbles are easy to practice, and new words are fairly easy to find it on the internet and all. But RCs is what I would consider the most important part of my mocks because I VRC I do it first because I think VRC is important to attempt in the mocks itself because you have to match your timing according to other sections also. If your let's say if your cons went bad and then you think that VRC would be easy but it messes your brain right then and there. So you have to practice in mocks that even if your other section went bad, your option selection and accuracy are not derailed from the earlier planned.
So moving to the next question, like how did you analyze your VRC performance after mocks?
So after mocks, I used to first check my RCs and check my correct answer. If my answer is correct, I'm going to again get my reasoning right. And for other wrong options, I'm going to check that why they were wrong and give the reasoning myself. That is done for the RCs. And then I'm going to switch to parajumbles.
So
Most of the
improving
time,
VRC,
huh?
yeah, so improving VRC is not practice, it's about analyzing mistakes and also improving
Yes,
interpretation skills.
yes, that worked for me. And for parajumbles, I would say that most of the time, the option you selected and the option you rejected at the last two options. So I think if you did wrong, then it is going to be the other option mostly. So I'm going to check that why was the option I selected while in the mock, was it wrong? Why was it wrong? So parajumbles, I didn't waste much of my time on them while analyzing because most of the time it was mistake due to the pressure while giving the mocks and selecting the option because parajumbles unnecessarily take more time than they should most of the time for me. That is what happened. So other than that, for summary, initially when I was doing mocks, I selected the wrong options while answering the summary questions. But I think when CAT exam was closer, I started selecting right answers. So for summary also, I used to analyze what I did wrong. So for summary, I used to do one trick. I read the RC and then I used to think that what could be its summary. So what could be the main crux of that RC? Just the main pointers. That's it.
So, what are the biggest mistakes that students make in VRC section according to you?
So while preparing, students focus more on books like Word Power Made Easy and the Aeon articles, and they focus less on mocks. And I think that worked most for me because initially my VRC preparation was not at all good, and I really picked up my pace after giving few mocks. So that is the first mistake they do. Second mistake they do is not using elimination technique while answering the mocks. You have to eliminate the options, pick the last remaining option. This works in your favor if you are answering the antonyms and synonyms question. Mostly at last there are two options remaining. So at least out of four options, only two options are remaining. So you can think of sacrificing your accuracy, taking that chance. So strategically, not every time. So you have to consider your total attempts, your if you answer it wrong, then what will be your accuracy and what will be your score? You have to think at that time, take the chance if you want to. So by elimination, you at least are at a better position than answering blindly. So that is the second mistake which people do.
Valuable insight. So, yeah, moving to the next question, like, why do many students get stuck at average scores?
So I think students get lost while answering the RCs. They read again and again the RCs. They waste 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And when they have to think for parajumbles and when they have to think for summaries, they sacrifice their accuracy because less time is left and they have to think in the rush hour. So that sacrifices accuracy, and most of the time it is the contributor to your average score. Other than that, what I think is you get stuck in on one question and you think that you are really close to the answer. Let's say only last two options are left, but you don't want to answer it wrongly, and then you take it up on your ego that now you will do this question. So it takes your 5 7 minutes. So that also wastes your time. So time, accuracy, and the total number of attempts. You have to see these three things while answering.
So what do top scorers in VRC do differently?
I was very brutal with my option rejections, the using elimination technique. If I so before my CAT exam, I just said to myself that if I think that this option is wrong, I'm going to reject it then and there. I'm not going to think about it. That's what I said before. If you think about the option, you're going to get the justification. But mostly that justification is wrong. I just trust that uh, if I think that in the article and in my own analysis, this option is wrong, then I'm going to reject it, search for the second option, read the third option, select the right option. That is what I used to do. And that worked for me.
So what was the turning point in your preparation?
So one major turning point was the first mock I gave. I scored in single digits, considering all three subjects. First turning point was that. And then the last mock. The major contributor in the last mock was my VRC section or and to the total score. Then I got the confidence that at least VRC section is going to make up my total score. And that is what happened in the CAT exam and in XAT also.
So if someone wants to move 95 percentile plus, so what should they focus on?
They should focus on at least be in touch with VRC, because what we majorly do is focus more on quants and DILR because we think that those are the main subjects. But most students they forget that forget, or let's say ignore the VRC section. So if I say that, so that's why I said that you have to give 30 minutes daily. That is easy to give out of your total CAT preparation. So in those 30 minutes, you have to get in touch with a topic you think that you are bad at, or even that you think that you studied last in the last week and you want to get in touch with it again. So you have to get in touch with it again. Then only at when you give the mocks, you're going to get the fruit of that. Other than that, if you think that while doing mocks you will practice and study, then that is going to be hell for you.
So yeah, let's move to the rapid fire round. So the first question is one habit that VRC score,
Elimination of options.
reading versus practice mode,
Practice.
accuracy versus attempt,
Accuracy.
one mistake to avoid.
Overemphasis on learning new words.
And the best tip for last 1 month before CAT.
Give as much mocks as possible, but the main tip is that if you're giving a mock, you have to analyze it. Other than that, if you don't do it, it's useless.
So yeah, to conclude, VRC is not, it's about building reading ability and also understanding the context and thinking clearly. So like if a student focus on consistency and like practice smartly and scoring high in VRC is absolutely achievable. So thank you Aditya so much. Thank you so much Aditya for joining us and sharing your insights.
Likewise, Adarsh. I really enjoyed this podcast. Thank you.